Health is a standard measure for quality of life. Naturally then, a quality healthcare system aimed at improving the health of the population and preventing disease should and must be adequately developed. However, healthcare, like many other things, has become a private business, aimed not at improving the lives of people, but at maximizing profits. We have all heard of, and in many cases even experienced, heartbreaking stories in which seniors had to choose between medication or food for the month, or children in need of surgery and medication that can't get treated because their parents can't afford insurance. Healthcare, a fundamental human right, has become a massive business at which the center is profit. Everyone from insurance companies to hospitals to pharmaceutical and medical device companies are pulling in larger and larger profits, many times at the expense of the patients whom they're supposed to be helping. This drive for higher and higher profits essentially ensures that medical treatment will always be expensive for the vast majority of people. In pursuit of higher and higher profits, medical personnel have been and continue to be heavily overworked, sometimes even being driven to become totally disillusioned with the medical field, sometimes even resulting in suicide. Rather than making medical education more accessible, so that more doctors would graduate every year and hence help alleviate the epidemic of exhausted and overworked doctors, capitalists and the governments they lobby and control would rather continue overworking a smaller amount of medical personnel and hide away access to medical knowledge behind incredibly expensive university fees. This way, they spend less on education and salaries, which further boosts their profits. In the US, many people are afraid of financial ruin that could be caused by the prospect of seeing a doctor and getting treatment. And this is only for serious illnesses. Countless Americans forego getting treatment for less serious illnesses, instead choosing to just live with it until it resolves itself, if it ever will. This becomes even more baffling when you remember that this is happening in the richest country on earth. Another symptom of the many issues capitalism causes within the US would be the narcotic addiction crisis, which has caused hundreds of thousands of deaths and disrupted the lives of millions of people. This very issue has been caused by the overprescription of opioid pain medication by tens of thousands of private US medical practitioners, pushed by the giant US pharmaceutical industry in what essentially is mass murder carried out in the never-ending pursuit of higher profits. Unsurprisingly, this has resulted in record profits to the tune of over $35 billion for corporations such as Purdue Pharma. At the same time that regular people are either unable to see a doctor or get treatment in fear of being financially ruined, giant mega-billion-dollar tech companies and CEOs are evading paying billions of dollars in taxes so that they could avoid the inconvenience of having to contribute to any national health programs that would actually benefit the vast majority of people. These true patriots, who are always looking out for the well-being of the nation, are also the most unflinching supporters of the privatization and demolition of any and all public programs. They proudly wave their national flag around as their direct decisions result in the suffering and death of hundreds of thousands of their own countrymen every single year. Those without insurance, those with pre-existing conditions, whatever those are, those who simply don't have the money, all left to rot and die in hospital waiting rooms as the personnel, equipment, and expertise lay dormant, collecting dust without being used. All because it simply isn't profitable to help your fellow man. In the same vein, from 2001 up to 2018, under Bush, Obama, and Trump, the US taxpayers have spent $5.6 trillion on privately delivered, for-profit medical care with unimpressive results in terms of population health and life expectancy. Despite this enormous investment of money in a chaotic, ineffective private system, the US Treasury has continuously maintained it could not possibly finance a national health program for the population. Truly what a democracy really stands for. On top of all this, the business of advertisement is busy trying to sell healthy people treatments they don't need while neglecting the seriously ill. They even go as far as advertising surgeries that have been proven to be absolutely useless. The catch? Those same surgeries are very, very expensive. So much for the efficiency of the market. On the topic of the market, some may say that this is corporatism at work, and pure capitalism, whatever that is, would fix these issues. I have dealt with the corporatism issue before in a separate video of mine. You can find the link in the description. To go through it quickly though, Capitalists want as much profit as they can possibly get. It makes perfect sense for them to lobby the government and manipulate the market to reach that end. Capitalism has a natural tendency towards monopoly. That's why hospitals have been on a 20-year merger spree. That's why they're buying up doctors' practices and charging monopoly prices for both hospital and physician care. That's why drug companies are manipulating patent law and charging monopoly prices for drugs that usually cost fractions of a dollar to produce, all in order to maximize profits. This isn't a corporatism issue, this is a capitalism issue. To top this all off, the pharmaceutical companies have created a nearly dystopian version of the world in which the most basic life-saving drugs have had their prices increased by 100, 1,000, even 10,000%, despite them costing pennies to produce. I'm sure everyone's familiar with how epinephrine, adrenaline, the drug used to treat severe allergic reactions and cardiac arrest, had its price increased to more than $300 a vial, despite it costing less than $1 to produce. However, there are many more examples that aren't spoken of or heard of in the media. Sofosbuvir, a drug used to treat hepatitis C, costs more than $1,000 per pill, meaning a typical full-course treatment would cost nearly $100,000. Keep in mind, the production cost of a full course of treatment is less than $100. Pyrimethamine, a drug that treats toxoplasmosis, is sold at more than $700 per pill, despite it costing less than 10 cents to produce. Mebendazole, a drug used to treat parasitic worm infestations, which affects more than 1 billion people worldwide, is sold at more than $800 per pill in the US, despite it costing less than a cent, sometimes less than 1/10 of a cent even, to produce. Why would life-saving drugs that cost pennies to produce be sold at such ridiculous prices, particularly in the US? Because of profit, of course. Mind you, these aren't rare drugs that are barely used or prescribed. These are all drugs from the World Health Organization's model list of essential medicines, which contains the medication considered to be the most essential to the healthcare system. I won't even touch the topic of vaccination concerning the BCG vaccine, rabies vaccine, HPV vaccine, amongst others. Look that up yourself if you really want to be disgusted. To embarrass this system even further, horribly blockaded third world countries like Cuba have managed to provide far better healthcare to virtually all its population despite its lack of resources, an illegal embargo that has impoverished the country for more than half a century, and constant attempts at destabilization by the US. The real crime, however, is that the US and its ruling class refuse to provide universal healthcare, not because they can't, but because it would cut into their bottom line, profit. Now, some may say that the Nordic or European model is the way to go then. The problem with this is that the European people got these concessions from their governments through bloody and difficult struggle by far-left groups that literally and figuratively pried these concessions out of the capitalist class. In the end though, they were just that, concessions, which can be taken away at any time. As we see now, slowly but surely austerity has taken root and is slowly eroding all the public programs that Europeans have enjoyed since the end of World War II. The concessions won by the people through painful struggle are and will always be under attack under capitalism. We need to consolidate these gains, not leave them to the whims of the ruling class. When, in the richest country on earth, we see such a broken system that outright neglects the needs and wants of the people for healthcare and a healthy life, then maybe we should start looking for some alternatives. Thanks for watching. To my subscribers, I apologize for being away for so long, but I have been and still am very busy. Thank you so much for 3,000 subs, and I promise the next video will come out sometime in the future soon, not too far from now. Also, a special thanks to a few comrades on Discord, such as Gulag Gang particularly, but also Laika, Scholarly Vicent, and Comrade Courbet. Some of these people have helped me directly, or at least offered to help, in consulting with pharmacists, or consulting insurance agents, or just simply trying to find more information about the prices of drugs and the prices of treatments and how exactly insurance policy adapts to it, so on and so forth. So I'm incredibly thankful to have them help me with the making of this video. So I thought they deserved to be mentioned here. And that's about it for now. Till next time.
Ons gaan ska me constar.